Hello, my name is Benjamin Carter, and this is my speech, and this is my audience. Allow me to get started. Alright. $880 billion in just 10 short years. This is the amount of money being taken away from our children if Medicaid is cut within our school system, according to PBS in 2017. These funds don't just affect the children inside of our education system with special needs. This funding also affects the screening that we use for these children to decipher whether these children actually do have a disability or if they just have something such as simple as a hearing disability or their vision isn't as great. All they need is glasses. Why this is so important is this is federal funding that goes over to this testing. This is what Medicaid directly affects, that the school system directly relies on. If this federal funding ceases, then the school board will have to seek out other funding, other ways to fill this void. That means the new textbooks for our children, the new funding for our school uniforms for our football team. It directly affects you and me and everybody around us, not just the kids who actually need the excess education and the screening. It affects every one of us. According to David Schiffer in Tucson Weekly in 2017, the House of Republicans' bill to repeal Affordable Care Act would significantly cut funding. Therefore, schools would have an extremely tough time maintaining special education. It's not just the kids, it's also jobs. These are teachers. People went out and got a degree that are teaching your kids, helping these people who truly do need it. And these kids that can be directly affecting through this testing, that can be found, that don't have a disability, just the simple things. They could be the next doctor or scientist to develop a cure for a significant disease. The testing for this not just affects the small groups, it affects the big groups. Every one of us. It's not just a duty for the parents or the grandparents or the uncles or the aunts. It's as American people. It affects all of us. We all rely on it. There were certain children that, when they did a study, they found after a certain point that they had this mass amount of people that they couldn't quite figure out how to teach them. These people went through school year in, year out, and teachers were telling them that if all they did was nod their head and take the testing, they'll move them along. These kids would get all the way up to about 7th, 8th grade, and they couldn't read. Come to find out, a lot of them, all they needed was an implant in their ear to actually be able to hear what they were actually being told, because they couldn't understand everybody around them. In conclusion, what happened was they actually ended up spending more money to reteach these kids. In conclusion, the funding that Medicaid supplies is not only just something that we need, but something that's going to better all of us, that has always bettered all of us, and that is required to keep on moving forward. Thank you.